It's fantasy football draft season, and we're looking for those wide receivers from the middle rounds that could exceed expectations and become big-time fantasy football assets. Today, we're looking at Emeka Egbuka, wide receiver for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And big news dropped today that's going to impact him. But before we dig in, you need to click that subscribe button right now. We're doing these deep dives every day on your favorite players. We're doing player rankings. We're going over draft strategies. We're going to help you set those lineups all throughout the year, on top of finding those gems off the waiver wire. Click that button. Stop missing out. Do not disappoint Ric Flair. He's watching. Make sure to hit that button. But the news is Jalen McMillan's placed on IR. He could be back later in the season. We're talking double-digit weeks. Chris Godwin will eventually return. This depth chart just opened up immensely today. It opened up greatly. Huge. And I feel bad for McMillan. That has to be a nasty injury. I hope he gets well soon. On top of that, Chris Godwin looks like he's not close to coming back. I'm relaying the news to you. It looks like he's not close to coming back. He could be back sooner than later, but it looks like it's going to be some time. He's not out there jogging on a separate field with a trainer, much less cutting on his surgically repaired ankle. Might not be back for a bit. He will eventually be back. It said eventually, but might not be back. But Emeka Egbuka enters the chat here. And this is a big-time wide receiver drafted in the first round that a lot of people glossed over because when he got drafted to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you saw Mike Evans. You saw Chris Godwin. You knew Jalen McMillan. But, as I said during that time, give it some time and things will clear out. And I did not mean it in this way. And I was actually metaphorically meaning the Jackson Smith and Jigba way, as eventually time will allow wide receivers, other players, to just go on their separate ways due to natural roster attrition. But Emeka Egbuka is now in a situation here where we got an opportunity. We could capture it. We were a 5-star recruit coming out of high school. #1 wide receiver in his class per 24/7 Sports during that time period. Compared to Juju Smith-Schuster, you see that in his game as he can be in the slot, be very powerful in the slot, big, thick guy, good route running, strong hands. Everybody wanted this kid out of high school. From Alabama to Ohio State, West Coast schools, East Coast schools, just everywhere. Big-time prospect. And at Ohio State, we had some seasons. We did have some injuries baked in there, but 1,000 yards last year in 2024, 1,100 yards in 2022. You also want to look at those numbers and think he played with some of the best wide receivers in the world during that time. You're looking at Jackson Smith and Jigba, Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, Marvin Harrison Jr., Jeremiah Smith, Carnell Tate, former 5-star Brandon Inns. That being said, Ohio State's always loaded with talent, and if you're productive with this team, especially early on, that's a good look for you. And being able to be productive in 2022 with 1,100 yards and 10 touchdowns, that's solid. And he decided to stay an extra year. In 2023, he was heavily being mock drafted as a first-round selection. There was a high probability he was going to get good draft capital in 2023, but he decided to stay, and a lot of that Ohio State Buckeye team stayed for that 2024 season, added Quinshon Judkins to win that natty, to win that title. A lot of those Buckeyes stayed an extra year to make a run for it. That is one thing. When you're looking at the ADOT, it screams a guy that's in the slot, as his slot percentage, especially last year, 81.1%, but most time above 50%, while at Ohio State, getting those short passes. He's big, physical after the catch. That's the thing. He's hard to bring down. He's like a running back with the ball in his hands. He's also good at separation. He's good at breaking off routes. You see that on tape. He can also be dominant. It's hard to be dominant, taking over games, when you got all-world wide receivers all over the field. From Marvin Harrison Jr. to the Chris Olave to Garrett Wilson, first-round draft picks playing with you, and you become a first-round draft pick yourself. That is hard to do. but he can take over Michigan, Michigan State, Wisconsin, Georgia in there, hanging out Hundies on them. Notre Dame, Michigan State again, Oregon, Notre Dame again. Just hanging up yards. Tennessee last year, 81 yards. He's a big play machine. He's a very methodical wide receiver, very smart and sound. He looks like a guy that can transition rapidly to the NFL level, that could develop, that could be a good skilled player. And he got drafted in the first round, like we said, going to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, where the depth chart at the time, and it still is, log jammed with a lot of good talent, but you also got Baker Mayfield. He's not afraid to sling the rock. He does not care who you are. If you're there, you earn the target, you're going to get the target. And Emeka Egbuka has a lot of upside in this offense. And it's unforeseen right now because it does seem a little bit cloudy. But injuries are starting to open things up. A good RAS score, too. 9.27 RAS score. Good athleticism to his name. The vertical at 38 inches posted down there is solid. Lends to the notion that he's very explosive. And you're looking at this depth chart. Like I said, it looked like it was log jammed. Unfortunately, injuries are making it unlogged. Mike Evans is still a dog. He's still a killer out there on the field. There's a chance he could be missing time. We're on the back nine of his career. We're 32 years old. It is what it is. But he's also a dog. He's a killer out there on the field. He'll probably get you 5+ wide receiver 1 weeks this year. If he misses some, he misses some. He's still a Hall of Fame wide receiver. Tez Johnson is a prospect to pay attention to. He is a slot wide receiver who's nasty, who can create separation. You also want to look at Shepard, but if you're looking for another rookie that could emerge as a target in this offense, watch Tez Johnson. He cooked at Oregon. He cooked at the Senior Bowl. Didn't really kill it at the Combine due to him being 154 pounds with a 4.5, 140-yard dash. A lot of spreadsheet senseis don't like that, but yet again, the kid can play. He's solid, but you look at what these wide receivers did last year. They got hit up with injuries. Between Godwin and Evans, you got 21 games on the season. McMillan missed weeks. All these wide receivers were in and out of the lineup. That being said, when you look at this, there's potential for Emeka Egbuka to step up, carve out a large role. This is his opportunity. We talked about Tyler Warren earlier today, and we said the difference between players, people, whether it's football, on the job site, it's whether or not you can take advantage of that opportunity. Some people are more talented, and it is what it is. However, those people who take advantage of those opportunities will usurp the most talented people out there. Like, that opportunity happens and they take it and they run with it. They excel. Right moment, right time, right place, everything. It's like Egbuka's time here. This could be his moment. If he captures it, he could be one of the most productive wide receivers in the league. Baker Mayfield can fuel wide receivers. This is a different offense here. Offensive line's different. There's a lot of differences here. That being said, you got to throw that into consideration. But the target share could ramp up. And you're looking at Godwin here with a 27% target share, Jalen McMillan 13%, and the fact that Baker Mayfield's not afraid to look at other wide receivers and build a rapport. That's a good thing. Baker Mayfield said some good things here about Emeka Egbuka as well, saying that he's a smart player, and he is a smart player.
And Emeka Egbuka is an absolute stud.
Ooh.
He is.
Okay.
He's a real deal.
Yeah. What makes you say that?
Okay, you know how you just can't teach guys leaving the ground to catch the ball? He's always grounded when he catches it, keeps moving. There's yak potential out the wazoo there, but he's just so damn smart. I mean, he's willing to block, willing to do everything we ask him to do. But then, I mean, we can plug and play him at any of the 3 receiver spots right now.
Yeah.
It's pretty exciting.
Hell yeah.
I mean, if he can go up and get a ball and he's smart, that I don't know what else you want in a receiver.
Very sound, very nuanced, very technical. I think he's going to gel well with his team. I think he's going to push for a 20% target share. I think Mike Evans is going to get a high target share, a good ADOT. I think Emeka Egbuka is going to get that workload. Where he's going at in drafts is an interesting spot because I think he's going to be pumped up there a little bit in best ball leagues. I think yesterday's price or the right now price isn't going to be the price after this video, after it's recorded. But Egbuka's going to go up there. He's going to climb there because now he's got foreseen opportunity. And now people don't have to worry about that as much. The talent is there. The draft capital is there. But he's also in a range where the wide receivers are starting to thin out, starting to get ambiguous. Him versus Matthew Golden is going to be a very interesting question this season because both of them could get good target shares, good opportunities this year. Both of them could light it up. I will have a video on Matthew Golden here soon You also got Debo here with his new team, with Terry McLaurin looking at his contract, which could change here soon. You're also looking at Rome Odunze, who's looking to climb some upside. You also got some running backs here to look at. Kind of like your final stream of running backs that are veterans that could give you some production outside of the dart throws that you're seeing here the next few rounds after round 7. So you got some avenues to look at in this stage of the draft. But if you're looking for upside at wide receiver that's likely to hit, you got Egbuka, Odunze, Pearsall, Golden in this round, Luther Burden about a round and a half afterwards. And then after that, it thins out greatly, and you may have to wait on some of those wide receivers. Pat Bryant's a sneaky guy. You may want to look at him, but maybe later on down the season. That being said, you got a crossroads here. If you're good at wide receiver, like say you took a running back rounds 1, 2, or 3, and you pounded out wide receivers to this point, I think he's great as like a wide receiver 3, 4, 5 on your team, depending on your build. He's great like that, and he could be a guy that hits for you if you're building that way, going late tight end, late quarterback, taking dart throws at running back. Maybe you're going with the Pollards as your RB2, or the Masons, or the Joneses, or the David Montgomerys, and then you're lighting up with lottery tickets in the double-digit rounds. Maybe you're doing that. Maybe you want extra wide receivers. Maybe you're cashing in for that upside. That strategy goes in line with Odunze, Pearsall, Golden as well. Maybe even Luther Burden as he's climbing ADP as we speak. But you're also looking at the ADP. He's been climbing. He's been looking good in training camp. He's been breaking off routes, making big catches, had a touchdown in his last preseason game. He's been looking good. He's been looking solid. He should be a stout fantasy football player. But can he hit that upside? Can he be a wide receiver 1 in this offense? Mike Evans may not be there every single game this season. That's the thing about this. That is heavily in the realm of possibilities. He could be the lead target getter in this offense. They may have to rely heavy on the running backs this year. You may want to look at Sean Tucker even a little bit more this year due to all these injuries. Chris Godwin could be back week 2, week 3, and that could put the kibosh on this. That's another question you got to ask. There's a lot of risks here. I'm not trying to talk you out on them, but I'm also not trying to talk you in on them either. I'm just trying to relay everything that's coming through my head from one ear to the other so you can make your decision. Because my goal is not to sell you on any of these players. You see You Need on here, but that's branding. I've been doing this for years. Emeka Egbuka is a big-time wide receiver prospect with a lot of upside. He's a top-tier talent. Number 1 in his class coming out of high school. Played at Ohio State with a bunch of talented wide receivers, was able to be productive with them. Now he's in line to be the wide receiver 2 right now for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Has a lot of upside. People are betting on him right now as you see him climb up on ADP. That's underdog ADP, so everybody has to pay to make those bets. That's something to pay attention to. There's rookie risk. Chris Godwin can come back. He might need some ramp-up time. Mike Evans could just get extra targets. They could just slow down the passing game, slow down the snaps on offense, maybe less passing attempts, maybe not enough shootouts in the beginning of the season, slowing down the volume. A lot of different risk factors here that could play into this. There's opportunity costs, maybe like Matthew Golden, Luther Burden, Rome Odunze, a little bit better when you're looking at upside wide receivers. There's veterans here like David Montgomery there in this situation that you could be drafting instead. Tony Pollard, a couple more veteran running backs. Not many left, but you might want to go that route depending on your build. I do suggest that you look at your build before you draft them. Like if I'm good at wide receiver and I'm top heavy at running back, I think it's all systems go on those rookie wide receivers in that range. Not just Egbuka, but Golden, Odunze, who's year 2. But you're also looking at Luther Burden, all those young guys in that area that you're looking at. Pick your poison on what you want to do. Again, when I talk about these players, I'm also talking about strategies, and that involves other players as well. So you're looking at him, and you're looking at those players. They all got similar strategies. They're kind of like in the same or similar realms of possibilities. Often a little bit different, but similar when it's baked in the macro. That's something you got to think about. But let me know what you think in the comments below. I want to hear about that. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on the way out. One thing for watching. Catch you on the next video.